Welcome to Stonewatch, and today we're talking about 2021's Voyagers. And if you haven't already, please smash the subscribe button and click on that bell so you can notify for future videos. And be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And yes, I recently sat down and watched Voyagers over on HBO Max. And no, I'm not talking about the TV show from the 80s. Now, as much as I did like that show when I was a kid, I don't really think that thing would hold up nowadays. That's a topic for a whole nother video. Anyway, after getting a recommendation from a fellow co-worker, hey, what's up, Willie, about this movie called Voyagers over on HBO Max, and then he showed me the poster, and he was kind of describing what the movie was about. I'm like, this sounds interesting. So after doing a little bit of digging and a little bit of Google searching, I come to find out that Colin Farrell's in this movie. That kid Ty Sheridan from Ready Player One is in this movie. I'm like, that's interesting. And then I, again, read a little bit on the plot, and I'm going, okay, this does sound a little bit interesting. How bad can it be? Well, now I'm not saying I think this movie's completely terrible. I mean, I thought the story was interesting for the most part. I liked the characters for the most part in this movie, at least most of them anyway. And I thought they were pretty interesting. I thought it was pretty well written. But I guess with a runtime of hour and 48 minutes, maybe they could have shaved off like 15, 20 minutes. It might have helped out the pacing a little bit. I mean, it started off pretty good, but then once they got into space and the things started going crazy, it seemed like it just got bogged down, and they kind of repeated like the same thing more than once, And then I did have a little bit problem, like a technical problem with the story, even though I probably don't really understand exactly what problem I actually have with this. But they said, the trip was going to take 86 years. It'd be a multi-generational trip, but they didn't really say exactly where we're going and which direction we were going to, where it was going to only take 86 years. Right? Or how we were going to get there, and it's only going to take 86 years. Are they saying in the year 2063, when this movie takes place, that we have achieved light speed space travel? Because the closest star to us is Alpha Centauri, and that's 4.4 light years away from us. Now, going at the speed of the space shuttle, which is a little over 17,000 miles an hour, going that fast, it would take 165,000 years to reach Alpha Centauri. So, if you travel by the speed of light, they're saying it'd be about 8 years to get there. So, now I have to admit, I did not know what the production budget was for this movie when I sat down and watched it. So when I was sitting and listening and asking all these questions with the story, and I'm like, where's this? How come they're not talking about this? And then I found out how much they spent on it. I'm going, oh, now that says a lot. Now I know why they didn't show that, and they didn't really explain it because they didn't have the money for it. Voyagers is a 2021 American science fiction film written and directed by Neil Berger. Now, the film follows a group of teenage astronauts sent on a multi-generational mission in the year 2063 to colonize a habitable exoplanet amidst of a runaway climate change and declining habitability on Earth, then descend into paranoia and social conflict after discovering that their personalities and emotions were being artificially suppressed. The film was theatrically released on April 9th of 2021 by Lionsgate and received general negative reviews from the critics and the fans. Starring in this movie, Ty Sheridan, Lily Rose Depp, Fionn Whitehead, Colin Farrell, Shantae Adams, Isaac Hempstead Wright, Viviette Cora, Archie Renault, and Quintessa Sendell, just to name a few. Now, currently, Voyagers is sitting with a Rotten Tomato score of 25% and an audience score of 55%. So the audience liked this movie a little bit more than the critics, but not by much. So with a budget of $29 million and its total box office of $4.2 million, it's safe to say there won't be a sequel to this movie. Now, again, I don't think this movie was completely terrible, but it could have been a little bit shorter. I think that would have helped out a little bit. Might have helped out with the pacing a little bit more. Maybe if they would have explained stuff a little bit more, or they maybe figured out how they could explain stuff a little bit more, even though they didn't have money to actually do it. I think that kind of hurt the movie, to be quite honest with you. And then also hurt it in the marketing part, because, again, I didn't hear anything about this movie until my buddy at work said something about it. So, and then I see some people online comparing this movie to the Lord of the Flies movie. Now, I'll admit, I've never seen that movie all the way through. I've only seen bits and pieces and read things about it here and there. So from what I've heard and what I've seen, I can kind of see the comparison between the two, but I can't really say, yeah, this movie is a spitting image of that, only in space, like everybody else has been saying, because I didn't see it, so I can't really say that. So I didn't think the movie was completely terrible, and it already has subscription to HBO Max, so 15 or 2. I didn't pay matinee for it because, 1, I didn't know it was in the theater, and 2, I wasn't going to the theater, and 3, I already have a subscription to HBO Max. I'm kind of glad that's the way I went. I thought the cast in this movie did a pretty damn good job, even though I only recognized 2 names out of the whole entire list, to be quite honest with you. I mean, Colin Farrell, because I think he's a pretty damn good actor, and I've seen him in quite a bit of stuff. Ty Sheridan, because I love that Ready Player One movie, and they keep talking about making a sequel to it, even though I don't know where they're going to go with the story, but I'm looking forward to that sequel. And I thought that Lily Rose Depp did a pretty damn good job in this movie, even though this is the first and only movie I've seen her in so far, so I can't really judge her acting on anything else except for just this one movie so far, but it's pretty damn good. So I don't know, man. Did you see 2021's Voyagers starring Colin Farrell and Ty Sheridan? Let me know in the comments down below. If you saw this movie, did you watch it on HBO Max or did you see it in the theaters back in April? Let me know in the comments down below. And do you think this movie was just pretty much Lord of the Flies and in space? Let me know in the comments down below. I mean, I don't think this movie is completely terrible, and if you already have a subscription to HBO Max, you're not out anything except for maybe 2 hours. So let me know what you think. Comments down below.